Hello, my friends. Today we're going to be reviewing African Archaeology by David W. Phillipson. Now, it's been a long time since I did a book review, and I figured might as well do another one today because this book, um, very dense. It's definitely not the longest book I've ever read. I've read books that have more than 500 pages. This is a 300-page one, but this one's really hard to get through. Um, Honestly, I kind of wish that I had just recorded myself reading this thing the whole time, because I feel like I would have retained a lot more of the information had I just read it all for you guys. Um, and if you don't know, I have some videos where I'm reading some other African book for you guys called The Bright Continent, and we'll definitely do more of that someday. But yeah. So one of the reasons I decided to pick this book up is because I've read many books on African art history and African history, as well as other topics. I've even read a book about African philosophy. I've never read a book about African archaeology, and I was like, well, let's rectify that. And I'm glad I did, but I would not recommend a casual person to read something like this. It's real dense, and like I said, 300 pages. At least half of those is all just rock tools and cave paintings, especially rock tools. Like I enjoy seeing the cave paintings and reading about those. The rock tools, like, so here's the thing. Like, as I read history books and art history books of Africa, I knew they were holding out on me in some ways because I was like, well, humanity started in Africa. There should be much older dates of even older things. Like, tell me more about the rock tools. And this book told me about the rock tools. And man, um, yeah, it's not the most I gotta be honest, it's not the most exciting thing. I can see why those art history books and the history books didn't kind of glossed over that gigantic part of history. Um, it's it's a lot. It can be interesting at times though. Um, but yeah, the most interesting parts of this book come in the later chapters, and those are all things that I've already knew about thanks to my art history books and my history books. So it's like, eh. So yeah, again, if you're just starting to learn about Africa, don't get this book. This is like, I'm pretty sure it's quite literally a college. If I remember reading what I checked, this is quite literally used for college students. I mean, a lot of my art history books and history books are used for college students as well, but they're just so much easier to read. And I gotta tell you, like, there are pictures in here, by the way. There are some pictures, obviously. um like, hey, here's some cool Benin stuff right here. So there's pictures. And of course this is later half the book when they stop talking about the rocks. um but but yeah, most of the time you're gonna be looking at sketches of rocks, or sometimes I think the rocks themselves. I think it's usually just they show sketches like this, if I remember right, but they probably do have some images of the actual rock tools. This, I don't know if this is a page. I lost where I put the bookmark for it, but here's an arrow. Here's a rock tool arrow. Um, they'll call it microlith. You'll hear the word microlith a lot when you read this book. Um, wh- so I only have two bookmarks in here right now. One at the very end, and then this other one, which I might do a video about. This is that one's on a cave painting that I find very interesting. I might make a video about it that later. Um, but what was I gonna say? Blanked out. Uh, I thought I had a bookmark somewhere else in this book. For the origin of arrows, bone arrows. And I thought that was really cool with that, like, the archaeologists are pretty confident they know where the bow and arrow originated. Uh, it was, if I remember right, I'm pretty sure I do. It was somewhere in southern Africa, is where they said. Uh, so yeah. Oh, it's been a while since I've been on camera. I was gonna like try to crop this this section out of the video, but maybe I won't. Do you see this mask right here? That's not That was a gift from my parents. That is a tourist mask. I just want you to be aware that it's not a real that does not represent a real culture. I have it hung up and display it because it was a gift from my parents. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should take that mask down because it does risk confusing people. Um, oh well. Slightly off screen, I have a mask that actually represents a real culture, but my camera isn't reaching that. So, or and I should probably do a video about that, but I have a Mosi mask, however you pronounce it. The ethnic group of Ibrahim Toure, if you've heard of that guy. Anyway, and if you haven't heard of Ibrahim Toure, he's the leader of Burkina Faso. Um, anyway, back to the book though. Oh, and honestly, I really should do a video all about tourist art and how to detect them at some point. But anyway, I try not to be a very snooty person. Uh, I mean, I kind of am, but I try not to be. So like, I feel like if you have touristy African art, that's fine. Where was I? Okay, so this book. So this book. By the way, in general, I kind of want to make more casual type videos. Um, cause like it's getting harder to make videos. And just the life is getting complicated. My life personally, and probably I'm sure many people, but it's getting harder. Life is getting harder, and so I might be trying to make more casual videos so that I can manage to put out more videos. Um, anyways, uh, and this video is meant to be a casual video because I'm just doing a book review, which I have done book reviews in the past, of course, but I should probably do them more often. Um, so yeah, did I say pretty much everything I need to say about this book? I mean, again, lots of rock art, uh, rock tools, and I want actually I don't think I made this point clear. I believe that all man-made objects uh are a form of art. Some are high art, some are low art. Um, Stuff that's more utilitarian, like tools, would be more of a low art. But there's still an art form because our ancestors, and I say our because this before white people even existed, literally. Okay, there's only black people on the face of the earth at this point. Uh, Eventually, of course, this book does get into like more recent history, but like near the start, we're literally sometimes we're not even talking about Homo sapiens. We're talking about Homo erectus, Homo habilis, Homo, all the homos. All right, like all the ancestors, not just Homo sapiens. I swear, somewhere in this book, I swear there was like some kind of euphemism that they used for Homo erectus, as if our ancestors aren't allowed to be erect anymore. What the hell is up with that? What was the word they used for it? Anyway, getting back on topic, one of the other things they talk about in this book is early pottery. Of course, that's important. Though here's a photo. They have some sketches of various pot shard pieces that they kind of like, map out how it would have been uh, if it was still whole, one piece. So yeah, pottery is another major topic. For those of you who are wondering, yes, they do include all of Africa, including Egypt. So like, you know, so there's Egypt stuff in here too, and that's at page 194. So yeah, even even Egypt has to wait more than 150 pages. When did they start talking about Egypt? Is this? Yeah, I don't know if that's the first page, but yeah, it takes a long, long time for this book to get to Egypt. So there's just so much. There's so much. Here's an artwork here's a rock. I mentioned there's a lot of rock painting stuff in here too. Uh, so you see this one right here. I've talked about this before on a African art tier list. This is in North Africa. In North Africa, no, sorry, South Africa. Jeez, this is a South African artwork, very ancient. What was it again? 20. Okay, yeah, I was about to say 20,000 years, but this book says it's even older than that. My recollection was slightly off, or actually not more, a lot more than slightly off. This says 25,000 years old or 28,000 years old. That's very old, and there's even older stuff in this book than this. Uh, but in terms, this is one of the oldest paintings. But yeah, there's again the rock tools. They go back ludicrously many thousands of years old. Um, let's see what else can I. Oh, and this tool. Maybe I should do a video all about this. Um, I have plans to do something about this educational wise, but not necessarily in a YouTube video form. But yeah, this is a crazy old piece of ochre. What was it, 75,000 years old or something like that? I can't remember. I'm looking for the date on here, but I don't see it. But yeah, this is Blumbos Cave in southern Africa. I think it's like right on the edge of South Africa, the country. Um, the bottom edge. And yeah, you can see this is like early signs of like just intentional art for art's sake. Like earlier, I was talking about how stone tools, I consider them a low form of art because they're mostly utilitarian, but they do have a sense of the human's creativity that made those tools. All right, so even though they were utilitarian, they still had some creativity. The spark of creativity is there. This is this is the creativity for the sake of creativity, as you can see here, these hatch marks, so that's an important and interesting distinction, I feel. um yeah, as you can see, whereas these are utilitarian. All right, sort of there was something else in here I wanted to talk about. um that's a skull from an early ancestor. Can I show skulls on YouTube? Maybe I can. I don't know, but just in case I can't. But yeah, you'll occasionally see some human bones in here. I probably can, but I'm probably being overly cautious. But whatever. Um, no, you know what? I have. I'm pretty sure I have shown a skull. So whatever. So as I said before, there are not just Homo sapiens in this book. This is, as they're calling it, Homo egaster. I want to say, is that the one? Yes, that is the one you were thinking of, past me. Homo ergaster is the alternative name the book uses for Homo erectus. So, why is that a thing? Well, I did some digging online, and the short answer is that many paleoanthropologists debate among each other whether Homo ergaster and Homo erectus are the same species or are a separate species. The differences between the two are fairly minimal, like slightly different physical measurements and different tool use, and the fact that erectus lived beyond just Africa. Some experts think these differences are enough to count as a different species, and others do not. Alrighty, so that's been my rather scattered and unscripted review of African Archaeology by David W. Phillipson. And yeah, this is a good book, but as I said, this isn't something that a casual reader should pick up. Um, but yeah, interesting stuff, and I'm glad I read it. And I have, you know, learned a number of things from it that's worthwhile. Alrighty, so that's all for now. Subscribe if you haven't, and click the like button, comment down below, and yeah, have a good day.